What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection for 2016 and the military section. So let's get started. Up first we have Basic from 2002 with John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, and Connie Nielsen. A good little film about a sort of training exercise that goes wrong, and it's sort of about the investigation following that. Up next we have Behind Enemy Lines from 2001 with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. Yeah, Owen Wilson's a fighter pilot who gets shot down behind enemy lines in Bosnia. I think it takes place. Not great, but the action scene, the missile plane crash scene is a good one, and Owen Wilson holds his own in that film, I think. Up next we have Biloxi Blues from 1988, film directed by Mike Nichols with Matthew Broderick and Christopher Walken, based on a Neil Simon script, or is it Neil Simon play, something like that. Anyway, moving on. Up next we have Broken Arrow from 1996 with John Travolta, Christian Slater, Samantha Mathis, Howie Long, the former Oakland Raider football player. Yeah, I remember when I first saw this, it was at a drive-in double feature with Independence Day when those both came out. But we didn't stay around to watch the whole of this film. My sister and her friends were like, "Oh, we don't like this movie." But I remember seeing it later on, and I enjoyed this film, directed by John Woo. I think it's pretty cool. Up next we have Courage Under Fire from 1996 as well, with Denzel Washington, Meg Ryan, young Matt Damon, film directed by Edward Zwick, who I've always been a fan of. Up next we have Crimson Tide from 1995. Great film directed by Tony Scott, of course, with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. Unrated extended edition. Yeah, one of the best submarine movies. Just a really good, tense film with two great performances. Alright, up next we have the Delta Force from 1986 with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. Just a really cool film, sort of about terrorists who hijack a plane, and it's all about this elite group of guys trying to take him on and bring him down. Good fun. It's really long and just really cool film. Probably my favorite Chuck Norris movie. Up next we have A Few Good Men from 1992, directed by Rob Reiner, of course, with Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, and Demi Moore, of course, famous for a certain line, which I'm not going to say for obvious reasons, but yeah, great film. Up next we have the G.I. Joe films, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra from 2009 with Channing Tatum. I really like Sienna Miller's performance in this. Good action scenes, but not great. And also got the sequel on 3D Blu-ray, G.I. Joe Retaliation from 2013. Yeah, people like Bruce Willis and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson were added to the cast. Ray Stevenson, Jonathan Pryce. Pretty cool from what I remember. Up next we have Green Zone. Green Zone, sorry, from 2010. Sort of sitting uncomfortably here. With Matt Damon, film directed by Paul Greengrass. Really good, about how the search for WMDs led America into the war with Iraq. Interesting film. Up next we have The General's Daughter from 1999, or La Fille du Général, the French title in this Canadian release, with John Travolta, Madeline Stowe, James Woods, Timothy Hutton, James Cromwell as well, good actor. Alright, up next we have Heart's War with Bruce Willis and Colin Farrell. Yeah, really good film from 2002, directed by Gregory Hoblet. Up next, we have The Hunt for Red October from 1990, special collector's edition with Sean Connery and Alec Baldwin. Just a fantastic film directed by John McTiernan. My all-time favorite submarine movie. Love every moment in this film, and especially the last 45 minutes. Some of my favorite footage in any film from the 90s. I think it's just fantastic. Sean Connery is the submarine captain. Alec Baldwin is Jack Ryan. A great supporting cast. Scott Glenn, James L. Jones, Sam Neill. Just a fantastic movie. Alright, up next we have The Hurt Locker from 2008, Oscar-winning film from that year, of course, directed by Catherine Bigelow with Jeremy Renner. Really good, fantastic movie. I didn't think it was worthy of Best Picture, but still a very good film. Up next we have K-19, The Widowmaker from 2002. Yeah, really good film if you disregard the sort of poor Russian accents with Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson about a nuclear meltdown on a Russian submarine. Up next we have The Kingdom from 2007 with Jamie Foxx, Chris Cooper, Jennifer Garner. Yeah, good film about the war on terror. I forgot what's his name. Yeah, Jason Bateman's in this film as well. Good movie, that one. Alright, up next we have The Last Castle from 2001 with Robert Redford, James Gandolfini, who's really good as the prison warden of a military prison, Mark Ruffalo, Delroy Lindo. I remember seeing this at the movie theater that I eventually worked at. I saw it when it came out in 2001, and then I started working at that theater in 2003, but it was the first time I'd ever been to that theater before I started working there. Alright, up next we have Lone Survivor from 2013, I think. Yeah, really good film with Mark Wahlberg. Fantastic movie about a bunch of guys on a reconnaissance mission in Afghanistan who sort of get stitched up and then have to fight for survival. Taylor Kitsch, Emil Hirsch. Just a really, really good, solid movie. Great action scenes, and Mark Wahlberg really good in that film. Up next we have Men of Honor from 2000. Yeah, good film about Navy divers with Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. Good performances by those two in that film. Up next we have the Missing in Action trilogy. The first one from 1984 with Chuck Norris. Again, one of my favorite Chuck Norris films about Vietnamese POW camp survivors. Joseph Zito directed that film. And also got the sequels, Missing in Action 2, The Beginning from 1985, and Missing in Action 3, Brad Hawk from 1988, or 89, sorry. Yeah, the sequels aren't great, but the villain in the third one makes me laugh every time he yells, Brad Hawk! Alright, up next we have An Officer and a Gentleman from 1982. Great film starring Richard Gere, Deborah Winger, and Louis Gossett Jr., who won Best Supporting Actor for his performance in this movie. Up next we have The Peacemaker from 1997 with George Clooney and Nicole Kidman. Yeah, a good film about trying to stop a bomber in New York City. Yeah, good performance by George Clooney. Alright, up next we have The Presidio from 1988 with Sean Connery and Mark Harmon. Good film set in San Francisco, of course, directed by Peter Hyams. Up next we have Proof of Life, film directed by Taylor Hackford with Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe. Okay, up next we have Rules of Engagement, also from 2000. Yeah, really good film with Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson about sort of a courtroom military drama following a massacre of protesters in Yemen. good performances by those two in that movie. Up next we have Sniper from 1993 with Tom Berenger and Billy Zane. Still haven't seen any of the sequels. No desire to. Alright, up next we have Stealth from 2005 with Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, and Jamie Foxx. Yeah, good film about pilots piloting these stealth planes. Not great. The special effects are actually pretty cool, and I like the ending of this film. Okay, up next we have Stop Loss from 2008. Yeah, really good film with a good young cast: Ryan Phillippe, Abby Cornish, Channing Tatum, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, about Iraqi soldiers who have to go back after they return home. Film directed by Kimberly Pierce. Alright, up next we have Stripes, 1981. Classic, of course, with Bill Murray, John Candy, Harold Ramis. Film directed by Ivan Reitman. Get back in there. Up next we have Taps, also from 1981, 25th anniversary edition. Fantastic movie. Love this film with young Tom Cruise, Timothy Hutton, Sean Penn, and the great George C. Scott. Film directed by Maurice Jarre. Great movie about military cadets who take over their school. Yeah, cool movie, Taps. Up next we have Tears of the Sun from 2003. Really good film starring Bruce Willis and Monica Bellucci, directed by Antoine Fuqua. Yeah, tough to watch in parts, but great film. Great action scenes. Really enjoy that film. Up next we have Top Gun from 1986. Of course, Tony Scott classic with the film that made Tom Cruise a superstar, really. Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt. Yeah, I love this movie growing up as a kid. I must have watched it over 100 times back in the late 80s, early 90s. It had a big effect on me back then when I was a kid. Don't ask me why. It's a weird film for me to have seen that many times, because of course it gets a lot of flack for the volleyball sequence alone. But yeah, I was in love with Kelly McGillis when I was a kid, and I was in love with a girl who looked like Kelly McGillis when I was a kid too. So that film had a big influence on me. Up next we have Tropic Thunder from 2008 with Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr. amazing in this film, as is the cameo by Tom Cruise. Just a fun movie. It feels like this should have a slipcase or something. It's kind of weird. 2-disc edition, but doesn't really say anything on there. Oh, there it is. Alright, up next we have Universal Soldier from 1992, special edition, with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. Not great, and I haven't seen any of the sequels, I don't think. I may have seen one of the sequels, but yeah, the first one's pretty cool. And last but not least, we have on Blu-ray, Zero Dark 30 from 2012. One of the best films of that year, that's for sure. Jessica Chastain, amazing. Joel Edgerton, Jason Clarke. Another great film directed by Catherine Bigelow. So, which I actually like this film more than The Hurt Locker, to be honest. So that is my military section. Up next will be my music section, which includes musicals and movies about music. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see ya.